What is up, Gorilla Nation, and welcome back to another Division 2 build video. But if you would be so kind, please show some love to that like button. Also, smash that sub button if you happen to be new to the channel. And don't forget to reach up there, trigger that bell, and turn on post notifications. So that way you never miss a live stream or a video that is uploaded. Well, I said it was coming. A new variation. A new way of running this particular build, and yet I have yet to see it on the YouTubeosphere, but that doesn't mean someone out there hasn't already made this build and is currently still running it. But I'm going to send you over some gameplay, but let me set the stage for the gameplay, because I know the trolls out there, people just don't pay attention, or about as smart as a box of rocks, or about as sharp as a bowling ball, will comment in the comment section, something off the wall that makes completely no sense. And so just let me, start out and let you know what I'm trying to demonstrate in the clip itself. It's not about per se killing the NPCs. It's proccing the talents on this build as fast as possible, and predominantly you can proc it every 5 seconds or even faster than that, and you'll see in the clips what I'm talking about. So keep in mind, it's just about me proccing and getting that bonus armor as many and as quick as possible. So I'm set to heroic, and I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you guys and gals back here in just a moment with the actual build. Alright, as you can see, I'm just trying to take damage and trying to proc it. I'm not the greatest at the game. I'm just trying more or less to demonstrate it. But you can proc it for you and your teammates predominantly really, really quick, as long as you have the special ammo for your specialization. And since the Demolitionist is the easiest, the fastest to shoot, and I think it's probably, I guess, on the same borderline as far as the reload speed of it, but yet you have so much in that drum of your specialization, and it fires so quickly, then you can fire off shots in rapid succession and kill multiple NPCs at one time. So if one of your teammates are getting focused, or you are, whether it be legendary, heroic, or the raids or whatnot, you can predominantly keep proccing that armor over and over and over, pretty much like every second, or as fast as you can kill the next NPC with your specialization. So what I'm talking about is the synergy between the tip of the spear gear set and the Tardigrade chest piece. Now, it's the rolls on it are pretty decent. Max armor, explosive resistance, armor regen, which is I don't need on that, and of course I stuck in the 12% protection from elites. And the talent is whenever your or any ally's armor breaks, they gain 80% of your armor as bonus armor for 10 seconds. Now, the amount of armor you or your allies get is predominantly and solely based on how much armor you spec into your build. I'm comfortable with 1 million armor, so 80% of that is 800k. So if I can, I'll pretty much and realistically give them, let's say, 800k armor every 3 seconds if they need it, then so be it. Now the cooldown per ally is 45 seconds, but this is where it synergizes well with the tip of the spear. Killing an enemy with your specialization weapon removes this cooldown. And that is key right there. So you're generating your special ammo through the tip of the spear, so that way you predominantly can always have it, and then also more drop on the ground from the NPCs. All you got to do is scoop up, and you can use it. And let's say if it's on legendary or on the raid or whatnot, you can weaken them. So that way, the NPC, so that way it only takes 1 round to actually kill the NPC, or whatever, you're according to your playstyle. But you can proc the Tardigrade chest piece as fast as you can kill an NPC to help out your squad and your teammates. So it's like a healer / support build all on its own. But as you can see, I have 4 reds, 2 blues. So it also has DPS, and it has a little bit of survivability just due to the 1 million armor. Alright, so let's start out with the tip of the spear first, starting out with a mask. But I guess let's go over the 4 pieces. Plus 10% signature weapon damage. The 3-piece gives you 10% weapon damage. And then it has aggressive recon. Dealing damage with a signature weapon increases total weapon damage by 20% for 60 seconds. So that's more going into your DPS. Automatically regenerate signature weapon ammo every 60 seconds. Of course, I have max weapon damage on it, crit damage, and in the mod slot, more crit damage. On to the backpack. 12.1% weapon damage, 5.2 critical hit chance, 10.6 critical hit damage. If you have better rolls or better, better rolls in your library or on your pieces, then your numbers are going to reflect that as well as your damage numbers. Now, the backpack talent is increases signature weapon damage by 20% and doubles the amount of signature weapon ammo generated by aggressive recon. So initially you get like 1 every 60 seconds, now you'll get 2 every 60 seconds. So that even furthers your output as far as utilizing your specialization, so that way you can constantly and predominantly keep that tardigrade, proccing over and over and over as fast as you need it. So that's why it is like a support DPS build all on its own. And it is really, really fun. So definitely try it out. I'm waiting to get my group together so that way I can run it in the Iron Horse raid. And it is going to do a lot of damage, but also be a lot of support for my teammates. Not just DPS wise, but also proccing that tardigrade so that way they get armor. So in a way, you may not even need a full-time dedicated healer if you use this correctly and properly. But if you have both, then who knows, you may be even to finish it even faster. But moving on to the gloves, max weapon damage, max crit chance. The knee pads, max armor and crit chance. And the holster, we have 13.6% weapon damage, 10% critical hit damage, and then max crit chance. It is a Seska holster that gives me 10% critical hit chance. Now let's go to the weapon stats themselves. In the RPK, we have 53.6% critical hit chance, 66.8 critical hit damage, 65 headshot damage, 6% armor damage. Now you probably say, well, that's minimal critical hit damage at 66.8. But you got to keep in mind that that's just additional damage on top of the 20% I'm getting from hitting that specialization. And I'm just more or less weakening them and having a little bit more damage than, say, if I stacked on more blues. Because I can stack on more blues, that may increase my survivability, but then I'm going to be shooting marshmallows. So every bit of damage that I can squeeze out of it, no matter how minimal it actually is, then is going to benefit me in a twofold process, and not just me running around waiting for my special ammo to regenerate in order to use it. I can actually be a worth to my teammates other than just my specialization usage. Now on to the Pestilence. I'm not using it for more or less crit, but it has 38.6 and 66.8. There's all the rest of the stats, 68.3% all weapon damage, and then 29 light machine gun damage, 10% explosive damage. Then we have the 12% protection from elites, and then 50% pulse resistance, and then a little bit of hazard protection, and then 28.8 burn resistance. but it is a lot of fun. Definitely try it out, but you don't necessarily have to go the DPS route with the build. This is, like I said, this is another variation of this particular gear set, mix and match either with the exotic or other pieces. Now, you could forego the crit chance and go with the likes of, let's say, a China Light to get that extra 15% explosive damage if you wanted to. But the only reason I didn't is because the tip of the spear, the mod slots, are offensive mod slots. So you either go with crit damage, crit chance, or headshot damage. So it kind of leaves your options a little, wonky. Since, I mean, if they were blues, then that would be even better. That way you can stack on protects from elites. But since they're reds, I mean, you could go with headshot damage, and then forego the whole crit chance, and you could go with like skill damage, or even go with skill repair and have like some heals and do some damage other than just DPS. But since I'm predominantly a DPS player, that's why I went this route. But another variation is what I just was mentioning, as far as going with a more of a hybrid type and adding some skill tier onto this instead of the reds. That build will be coming up shortly. It's just a matter of getting the right pieces, because most of the time they come with reds and the core attributes, and of course you need that to change to +1 skill tier, and you don't really get that many pieces because, let's just face it, RNG sucks. Well, at least for me anyways, for the most part. And if I can get the right attributes, as far as maybe skill haste, skill damage, things of that nature as the regular attributes, that way I can roll the weapon damage for +1 skill tier, then that's what I'm forming to actually do, to try to put that together and test it out and to see if I can have just as much fun as I can with this variation of this build. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate all